Standing back, that blue bit looks slightly strange, so I am just going to add a little bit of the yellow ochre. And whilst we've got that on a brush, let's do the stamens. Hi everyone. I think it's really nice when you can experiment with different things, and I just love these poppies. So we're going to use some moulding paste and some atelier and some credit card. I'm painting on one of these Loxley boards. They're an inch thick. See how well made they are, just 5 inches square, so we can just have a little bit of fun with this. Right, I'm just going to draw the shape out to start with. I haven't put anything on the canvas yet, so I'm looking at that circle, and that's sort of in that place, and then that comes almost off there, and so that was slightly over than halfway. And there's another dark circle showing there. And then that comes through and down. Now I'm just doing this to place it because it will just make it work a lot better when we go to paint it. That's all like crinkly there. And there's another petal that comes up. I think that dark can be bigger. So that comes up through there. Another dark one there. Let's just felt pen them in so that we can see where they are. And then we've got another petal that sort of that comes up through there. Yeah, that one isn't actually to there, that's to there. So this is why it's quite important to draw it out. And then we've got another dark. And these dark bits are the bits that just really make poppies. That comes around there, around there. And then another. Yeah, so that's sort of the shape. Now I'm going to use some reds, different reds, and an orange. So we've got a crimson red. I'm going to use a permanent brown madder and some orange, and I'm just going to use my card, and I'm going to use some impasto gel. So we've got all that ready. Now the first thing I probably need to do is to paint a little bit of the background colour in before I start. Now that is going to be a nice dark green and a little bit of yellow just mixed in. And we can take that right up to the lines we've drawn. And behind. And I like that sort of those colours because that will give us a nice contrast with the red. Bring that around. Now that's just paint that we're using there. There's no impasto gel on that yet. Pop that in there. Take that right down to there. Maybe along the back. And you have to remember the colours you've used because we're going to paint the edges at a different time. And I'm going to add a little bit of yellow into that because there's a bit of light hitting it here and there. A little bit of white too. Take that around the edge, that makes the edge a bit more interesting. Yellow, white. All sorts of things going on here. And tuck that into the back. Okay, so now the fun. Let's get our card Well, I'm going to fit into the brown madder on the end. So that's just that end. And then I'm going to go for some orange in the middle and some red the other end. And then I'm going to dip it into the impasto thickener. And we're just going to slide that around. Let's get a bit more of that impasto out. It's lovely this, and it dries absolutely see-through if you don't mix it with paint. So let's just put a nice bit on, I think, to start with, and then we'll go back in with our, because I want it to be so textured. Okay, so I think the first thing to do is get that darker permanent brown madder in, which is sort of there. And there is quite dark. Then we've got that red, which I'm going to use a smaller card, and I just make such a mess, to be honest. So take that right up to the edge, and then I've got a medium-sized cut that I've chopped up. I'm going for the orange, and that can go in here. And then that bit that comes up through there is orange. Put some orange and dark here and take that around the back too. And oh, I just love this texture. I think it's quite dark. Sort of here. And very orange here. Let's get some more of that gel on. I know that's messed up with other colours, but we're going to put colour on top of that in a minute. Those edges. Okay, let's get the dark bit in first. It's the permanent brown madder. Dip that in. And here as well. Definite dark line there. Crinkly bits, and some more orange on the edges. Orange down here. And paste. Oh, it's just beautiful. More orange. And the reds, that's more proper red. Let's pop that in here. Just get the shapes that you can see. I'm trying to sort of bring out the texture of the shapes. Take that around the edge. Just save time later. Smooth out those. Yeah, I think that one comes more like that. And now with my little card, I'm going to use the Prussian blue and the red black mixed together. No moulding paste in it this time. And work out where those lovely dark centres go and just sort of plop it in. Comes down there because we can see some of that. And then there's another one here. Well, you can't be tight and fiddly doing this because you can't using a card, can you? And we can always darken that later because that is the beauty of acrylics. You can go in at any point. Got dark here. And then that dark here. And here. That sort of comes around. Yeah, like that. So let's just pull that around. Dark bit there. And that big one there sort of comes out a little bit. Scratch it. And there's a little bit of white. I'm just popping that in now, but it might be a bit too gungy, in which case we'll just go back into it a bit later. But that would just remind me that there's a bit of light there and that needs to go in, and there too. And let's just get that orange bit filled in there because we don't want any gaps. Right, now I think we've just got to leave that to dry, and then we can do the finishing touches later. So I'd say a day or two, then we can go back into it. Now I've lost a little of the luminosity here. Take two. Okay, I want to make that quite light and sort of see-through. So what I'm going to do is just add some white paint on top, and then we'll put a glaze over the top of that. That will just really bring those lights into that. So around there. Just look at the shapes that that's making, and hopefully that will do fine. Just bring that around. Now it looks a bit odd at the moment because it is so light, but we will sort that later. And that poppy goes down there, and that's got light on that side. And that's very light here. And just a smaller brush, a little bit more detail. Right, just leave that to dry. I use a bigger brush, and I've got some of the gel, and I'm going to mix that in with some of the orange. Just a little bit of orange, very pale. Lots of gel. And now I'm just going to paint over those white bits. And this will give us a translucent feel to it when that dries, and it'll be very shiny like the background poppies. Keeping that quite soft. A bit more gel on there. That'll take a little while to dry, but I think the results will be worth it. Just neat gel going on there. Tipped it back the right way round now, and I'm just going to get some of those spiky bits in with this brush with funny ends to it. So I've got some Prussian blue, can mix some red with that to make it nice and dark, and then I'm just going to sort of pull that out, so get those poppy middles. It's just the edge of the flower, and then these are sort of lovely and spiky. And I think that one needs to show up a bit more, so let's just have a bit of a lighter red here. Take that around the edge, back to the black, make that spread again. Keep going. Get some white spiky bits into that in a minute. Oh, that one's spiky here too. And some whites now, so get that brush nice and clean. It's quite a nice unusual spiky brush. And into the white. spikiness going on here with that one. And there's a bit of red going in here, so we can mix some red, a tiny bit of white so it shows up a little bit more, and just get that back there. In fact, an orange would be quite good, I think. Right, we'll leave it to dry and we'll just let it do its thing and then see where to take it. Well, I really feel this isn't far off, so I'm just going to do a little bit of tidying up, and yeah, I'm almost there with this one. Get a little bit more definition around that with our darks, but what I'm going to do is mix it into the glossy. Just make sure we've got that gloss going in, which again looks a bit odd when it goes on, but that will dry to a see-through. We're almost there. I'm just going to add a little bit of highlight, just, yeah, I think that's all of it, and then a little bit of dark here where we've lost that, so the Prussian blue, a little bit of red into that, make it nice and dark. Just fluff up these a little bit again with my funny brush. A little bit there. Get that shape. I think that needs to be a bit greener at the bottom. Just to have a bit of a balance there. That's just. Oh, that's the only bit of green I think I can get in anywhere. So take that around the edge. Right, now I'm happy with that. What I'm going to do is with my palette knife, I'm going to get some of this moulding gel and I'm just going to put quite a lot on top of the poppy, and this will make it lovely and thick and shiny. Hope you've had fun doing this, and yeah, have a go at your own thing.